Good evening. Today it's March 13th, 1947. Thank you for joining us on JAA News. My name is Jordan Olson.
And I'm Nick Ankerman.
Today we start our program with new development that occurred yesterday afternoon when President Truman issued the Truman Doctrine. This new doctrine is an American foreign policy created to counter Soviet geopolitical expansion during the Cold War. It was first announced to Congress by President Truman yesterday on March 12, 1947. Good evening. The date is April 4th, 1948. And thank you for joining us on JAA News. My name is Jordan.
No, I'm Nick Ankerman.
Today, we start our program with new development that occurred early yesterday morning when President Truman signed the Economic Recovery Act. Just a few hours ago, this act became known as the Marshall Plan, named for Secretary of State George Marshall, who in 1947 proposed that the United States should provide economic assistance to restore the infrastructure to post-war Europe. The Marshall Plan, officially known as the European Recovery Program, was an American initiative to aid Western Europe, in which the United States gave around $12 to $13 billion in economic support to help rebuild Western European economies. When World War II ended in 1945, Europe lay in ruins. Its cities were shattered, its economies were devastated, its people faced famine. 2 years after the war, the Soviet Union's control of Eastern Europe and the vulnerability of Western European countries to Soviet expansionism heightened the sense of crisis. To meet this emergency, Secretary of State George Marshall proposed in a speech at Harvard University on June 5, 1947, that European nations create a plan for their economic reconstruction and the United States should provide economic assistance.
The Marshall Plan sought to rebuild a war-devastated region, modernize industry, bolster European currency, and facilitate international trade, especially with the United States, whose economic interest required Europe to become wealthy enough to import US goods. One of the main goals, however, was to contain the growing Soviet influence in Europe and prevent the spread of communism. The Marshall Plan required a lessening of interstate barriers and dropping of many regulations, and encouraged an increase in productivity, labor union membership, and the adoption of modern business procedures. The Truman Doctrine was further developed in July 12, 1948, when he pledged to contain Soviet threats to Greece and Turkey. American military force was usually not involved, but Congress appropriated free gifts of financial aid to support the economic and military of the economies and military of Greece and Turkey. More generally, the Truman Doctrine implied American support for nations threatened by Soviet communism. Good evening. I'm Nick Ankerman.
And I'm Angel.
Welcome back to JAA News.
Today's top story is the Chinese Revolution of 1949 on October 1st. The Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong started the Republic Peoples of China and started putting in new plans into act.
And now, another breaking story. We have what scientists are now calling, in economics, calling the domino theory. Now, domino theory is a brand new theory presented in which there is a growing fear of a country who has fallen to communism, spreading their communism to all other countries. And now, this fear has led many Americans to believe that the world will end at the spread of communism.
The Korean War began on June 25th, 1950. 75,000 soldiers from North Korea fought against South Korea on the 38th parallel, which now divides North and South Korea to this day. By July, American troops were already in South Korea trying to defeat off the communists to take over South Korea. Welcome back to JAA News. Thank you for joining us. The year is 1952, and I'm Juan Jose Martinez de los Rios Acosta III.
And I'm Nick.
Today we join you back for McCarthy was reelected this year and became the chairman of the Senate's Committee on Government Operations, where he occupied the spotlight for 2 years, and his in his anti-communist investigations and questioning of suspected officials. McCarthy's charges led to the testimony before the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, but he was unable to sustain any of his claims against a single member of any government department.
A new development has been brought to our attention by the US government. A new development has been brought to us by the US government, and that is that the United States has been involved in many European economic increases, as well as the prevention of the spread of communism. Now, we are experiencing a race in not only technology, but social economics due to the rise of communism. We are racing the Russians to be the better.
And this. What? Come on. You already heard the clip.
Can we leave that in?
You know what? Why not? Yeah, it's Jeremy. We'll leave it in. Jeremy, we're leaving that in.
And facilitate international trade, especially with the United States.
That class is gonna come out. Sit down.
And I'm taking the trolley. The cameraman has died due to a McDonald's-induced stroke, and I'm taking the trolley home tonight.